Hi everyone, welcome to the Virtual Meeting Etiquette training course. In this meeting, we're going to cover some basic professionalism in the workplace as it pertains to virtual online meetings and trainings. It's no secret that since COVID-19, many of us have been sent to work from home. And in the month of March of 2020, the CEO of Zoom mentioned that 5.5 billion minutes in virtual meetings were spent in the month of March. During this training, we're going to cover three basic areas: how to best prepare for the meeting in terms of dress attire and system setup, how to actually manage the meeting, and then some meeting expectations. Let's go ahead and get started. If you already have a selected online meeting platform, be sure to research the different ones and select a program that fits your needs. Let's look at some best practices in terms of meeting preparation: office space, Wi-Fi connections, computer cords, software, passcodes, audiovisual, invites, agenda, share screen, and recording. Here, we'll click on some interactivities and go through these.
Prepare a clean and quiet office space.
You can read along as we announce each different areas.
Check the Wi-Fi is connected and working properly. The computer is prepared and set up. The web conference software is updated. Create and send the meeting passcode. Your computer or camera audio settings are set appropriately. Create and send out meeting invites. Prepare and send the agenda. Screen sharing. Recording and hosting link for reusability.
So here are some basic steps for setting up your meeting. There are a few, and I'll give you the meeting or these training resources for you to read along later on after the course and moving forward. But with that being said, let's talk about these setups and the best practice in and around them. We'll go ahead and listen to a recorded video of this presentation, and we can follow along on these slides.
So, very important portion here of the training. So, again, make sure that you are dressed for comfort. Understand what your meeting is about, and of course, dress the part. And so, and not just that, but you could always wear your smile to work, right? And so you want to make sure that you're coming to your meetings awake with a positive attitude, and you're not just attuned, but you're interacting. And so these are some good examples right here on the screen of what right looks like and what doesn't, right? We do it through our technical curriculum, so why not show it here in the soft skills? Obviously, the employee to the left is not attuned, not even awake for their meeting, where the other gentleman to the right, he's leaning in, he's engaged, he's got his hands ready for action, and so he looks like an active participant. While the two young ladies in the middle of the screen to the right look like they're dressed apart, one looks like they're a little more casual than the other. This is a business that we work at. We're not at a picnic and we're not at a park. Again, unless that's how the organizer, if they gave you clear instructions that it's a relaxed environment, etc., more times than not, it's best to find a nice professional setting that's quiet, no distractions, etc. And then the last one, we could see where one participant's playing on his phone, so it doesn't look like they're engaged or interacting at all, unless the organizer said, everyone pull out your phone. Where the other one is their hands is ready to work, they've got a pen, they're taking notes. And so when we talk about appearances, you just want to make sure that, again, you are attuned and you're being engaged. Even if you're not communicating within the meeting, you just want to make sure you're ready to go. Especially for those who are note takers or like to ask questions. Hey, what was that meeting about? Make sure you take notes. And as a team, it's not a bad thing to
talking about taking notes. So during this training, I also have a PDF handout for you to follow along with. And so at any moment, you can go ahead and pull out the PDF that is attached to the training curriculum. And if you're following along on the screen, you would just click there on the training etiquette or virtual meeting training etiquette form, and you can follow along. It summarizes the content that we're covering today. It also has some activities where you can fill in the blanks as we work through this course together. All right, let's go back to this to our training here and listen to a little bit more about best practices, and then we'll play a knowledge check. So for the sake of time, I'm just going to cue this up to where all our best practices are already listed on the presentation. And I'm going to go through these rather quickly, and then we can go through our knowledge bowl game. So in terms of meeting preparedness, we covered, what right looks like in terms of our appearance. We're always going to dress as if we're going into the business office. There's really no need for us to show up in pajamas to our business meetings online and our trainings. And so we do require that we are professionally dressed, even in our remote setup. So in terms of meeting preparedness, you'll always want to make sure that you've done your pregame, your in the game, and your post-game preparedness. So pregame preparedness looks like this. You're sending out the agenda. You've sent out the meeting invites, those passcodes. You've sent out any instructions for pre-work so that they can come to class ramped or prepared for any interactivity, and any questions that they might have in and around the subject. The in the game setup looks like, hey, we're going to start on time. We're going to welcome the team, the attendees. Rituals are not required, but if you have a ritual at your organization, that is okay. You're going to set the house rules. Mute the phone, mute the camera when you're moving locations. We're going to be recording. Raise your hands for questions. Put on your headset for confidential meetings or meetings that are confidential in nature. And we expect participation. So the setting, select a quiet and clean setting. Close all communication streams, especially if there's a confidential information flashing through your screen. Mute all mobile devices and make sure you have good lighting. And technical setup, you want to make sure your computers are charged, your softwares are up to date, you've tested your content, and your materials are ready for screen share. So I think we're ready for a knowledge check. Let's go ahead and play along. All right, our first question. Why is it important for your workspace to be quiet, comfortable, free from distractions? If your workspace is not appropriate, it is distracting for people in your Zoom meeting. If your workspace is not appropriate, it is distracting to your learning. I'm going with both of the above. Nice. Our next question, being on time is very important in an online class session because entering the class late is a distraction to others. Very true. Next one, when entering an online classroom, I should depend on my teacher to mute me. That's false. We should always mute ourselves when we join a meeting, online meeting. Everyone in the meeting can see my name, so I don't have to say my name before asking a question out loud, right? No, in the chat, everyone can see your name, but when talking, if someone is screen sharing, your name may not be seen. That's the correct answer. What is considered appropriate clothing at my school for online learning? Anything you want to wear? No. An online meeting session is just like a regular meeting session. To be sure of appropriate clothing, you should use the school's or work's dress code as your guide. I can leave my video off unless my presenter asks me to turn it on. That's false. We should always have our video on. What are some examples of coming prepared to learn? Eat before an online session, that's one. Having all resources for class available before class starts, that's another. Taking notes and looking at the presenter while she is speaking. We're going to go with all of the above on this one. Always do your best. Ask questions. Right on. Let's continue. In a Zoom or Google Meet, I should post my question in the chat and raise my hand before interrupting the presenter in the middle of an online meeting session. Very true. Wonderful. Now that we've completed our training in and around best practices for virtual online meetings and training, what questions do you have? After this course, I'll provide you with resources for your continued learning. I'll also attach videos and PDFs that will allow you to learn more on how best to prepare for any online virtual meetings and training class. Thank you for attending. Have a great day.